Hi, everybody. I am so sorry for the delay. Oh my God. I had a computer issue. I had my computer all, let me let everybody in. Hold on one second. Gina, Vandana's here. Maria's here. Hi. Hi, you guys. I'm so sorry for the delay. Oh my God. Technology. I had a computer issue. I just had to switch to my fitness computer actually. So I'm on like a little tablet kind of thing, but we're going to go through with it. It's going to work. I've got my slides. I hope you guys have your notebooks. I hope you are ready to learn all about nutrition tonight. I want you guys to type in the chat where you're from. I know a lot of you guys here on the call right now live, and then replayers. I'm excited you're watching. Those of you who stay for the delay, I'm so sorry about that. But yeah, I'm super excited for the food fix tonight. This is going to be hands down my most comprehensive free masterclass I've done on nutrition. I'm going to cover a lot in 60 minutes. I talk quickly, I move quickly. I'm Italian, Puerto Rican. I like to move. So I'm going to cover a lot in 60 minutes. So make sure you are taking notes. Make sure you're ready to rock. Patty is from Delray Beach, Florida, my hometown. I'll be back there in a few weeks. Actually, I'm super excited. Those of you who don't know me, I'm Kristen Navagliano. I'm the founder of Create My Weight. And my business focuses on health and weight loss coaching for people that truly want to live with food freedom. Okay. And I dropped my podcast earlier this week, and I have a whole episode about food freedom and what that means. And I'll go a little bit into that today. But this podcast is this masterclass is really focused on like the 5 foods that are sabotaging your diet. Okay, even though you think they're healthy or you need them, there's something going on that they're not working for you, and how to fix this as soon as possible. Okay. I see Maria and I went to college together. We're Penn State grads, and she's a Jersey girl like me. Vandana is from LA. What's up? I'm so glad to see you guys. Philadelphia. And I've met Gina in Florida as well. So happy to be here. Thank you guys for coming. Okay. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to share my screen because I do have some really pretty slides for you. And we're going to go through my little presentation. So let me pull it up. Here we go. I've never done Canva through a template, but here's what we're doing. So I'm going to just go ahead and present, and we'll dive right in. Okay. So like I said, masterclass, all about the 5 foods that secretly sabotage your diet. Okay. Now let's see, like I said, okay. So here's what we're going to do. Like I'm going to go through these really quickly, and I want to know like who my audience is today, right? Because I always like to tailor my trainings, even though I have slides, and even in my challenges, I like to tailor what I'm teaching to the people in the room. So I want you guys to type in the chat which numbers pertain to you. Okay. So number 1, you feel like you know a lot about nutrition, but need to make some tweaks because something's just not working. Or number 2, nutrition overwhelms the F out of you. Okay. You feel like you can't eat anything anymore because you're just like, oh my God, and this is a big problem with social media and Google and, people having podcasts, and everyone has an opinion on nutrition. Right. So it's overwhelming. Speaking of social media, number 3, the Yuka app and Instagram are your main sources of nutrition education, but reading labels isn't enough to drop pounds. So it's so funny. I multiple people come to me and say, Kristen, what do you think of the Yuka app? Because I love reading labels. I love teaching people how to read labels. And this app came out that shows you the not good ingredients in foods. And so I get this question a lot. What do I think about it? And I'm like, yeah, it's great. I have the Yuka app in my head, obviously, so I don't use it. But at the end of the day, if you really want to change your health and your body composition, you need to do more than just read labels. Label reading is just part of the solution, right? Number 4, you hate dieting. I think no one here likes dieting, right? No one in my world likes dieting. I hate dieting. But you need to make some nutrition changes and just don't know where to start. And number 5, you want a no BS realistic approach to nutrition so you can still eat pizza and have some wine without seeing the scale jump 5 pounds. All right. So I want you to comment in the chat which numbers pertain to you. 5. Okay. Maria, I got you, girl. Number 2 for Patty. Let's see, Michelle, what did you say here, love? Okay. Yeah. Number 1 and 5 for V. Gina's 1 and 5 too. Michelle's a 1. Okay. I figured we would be across the board, but I think a lot of us are in the number 1-ish range, right? And this is like the why people come to me in CMW, because I like to make nutrition really simple, but I know there's always questions. And those of you who are staying with me till the end, as you better, not only will I have special bonuses for you, but we're going to do a Q&A. Okay. So get excited for that. So in just 60 minutes, right, we're going to learn the 5 foods you're eating that are like killing your results, how to drop pounds fast without starving. Because like number 1 mission, guys, in CMW is like, no one's going home to sleep hungry. Like every client I work with, like no one says they're hungry. And if they are, it's like, they've waited too long to eat or something. But most importantly, how to create and sustain a healthy lifestyle with food freedom and no drama. Okay. So these are the 2 phrases that you guys probably hear me use a lot: food freedom and no drama. So I want to kind of dive a little bit deeper into what I mean by that specifically, because that's like game changing. So why I'm obsessed with food freedom. So food freedom, yes, I can eat the things on my little charcuterie board. I love my gold wine glasses. And yes, I put wine in them. I call them my love is blind wine glasses. So like I truly am a person rooted in freedom. This is what my new podcast is all about, The Self-Invested Woman. Like I just want to like live my life, make my own rules, and I want my food to be the same. Okay. But of course, like we need some boundaries and standards. And so like, I will teach that within this philosophy tonight a little bit, but like, I just want to not worry about food. I spent so much of my life stressed about nutrition and being afraid to overeat carbs or like, my calories. I was a calorie counter. I put everything in my Fitness Pal. I mean, you name it, I did it, but there's nothing liberating about that process. And the picture on the right, I find this picture funny. So Scott and I, my boyfriend Scott, we were hiking in Cincinnati, Ohio, and we found this trail. And like, as you can see, like him and his son and my dog Mastro in the back, like we're just going through it. And like, I'm a trailblazer. I like to make my own trail. I'm always like breaking rules and like, I don't like rules when it comes to nutrition. So this is kind of what I teach in Food Freedom. And what the definition of food freedom is eating the foods you love in a way that supports your goals. Okay. That's what food freedom is. If you listen to my podcast, it just dropped on Spotify and Apple 2 days ago. Episode 2 is all about food freedom. I dive deeper into it. So go listen to that. It's like 19 minutes long, like curl your hair and listen to the podcast. Okay. And no drama. I love this phrase. I know, Patty, you love this phrase too. So no drama means no more stressing over nutrition. Guys, we have way too many things in our life to like worry about nutrition. Like seriously, like let's let this be easy. Okay. And so that's why I really like teaching people nutrition, because I want people to have a lighter, freer life. We have other things to do. Okay. All right. So the best part about this whole talk tonight in food freedom is we no longer care about the number on the scale. Like, this is what I want for everyone. Like, and even if weight loss is a goal for you, I do want you to get to a point where like you legitimately don't care about the number. You feel good in your body, right? And you live your life without food, guilt, or fear. Okay. You're addicted to your healthy lifestyle, not sugar, not snacks, or just telling yourself these sexy excuses that you're never going to be fit or be successful. And it's your age and it's your hormones and it's your work and it's your kids and it's everyone else's fault. Right. And this is why I not only love teaching nutrition, which we're going to focus on tonight, but like the mental piece. Those of you who have done my challenges, type challenge in the chat if you've done one of my challenges. Type challenge. And how much do you like my challenges? Like, I pour my heart into challenges. And I really make it about mindset. Right. And the reason why I have this picture here, guys, like, again, like I don't ever show pictures to brag. Like I showed them because I want people to understand what's going on in my head at the time. Okay. So for example, 2016, I was living in Delray Beach, Florida full time. I was a fitness trainer, a high school teacher, teaching nutrition and English actually at Boca Raton High School. And like, I had a little bit of food freedom. So like, I still like, ate brownies on the reg and stuff, but like I still really had guilt around eating certain foods. And I really wanted my weight to be at a certain number. I was like, if I'm not 130, like that sucks. Like not 135. Like I was obsessed with a number. And fast forward to what this photo was taken in December of 2024. I just got back from a cross country road trip after Thanksgiving and I booked a photo shoot. And I did this on purpose because I was living my best life. It was my birthday week. I celebrated with my friends when I got home to Florida, and then I did a photo shoot. I didn't even care. And I don't know what my weight was at the time, and I looked the same. Right. And like, because I live my life without fear, and I want this for everyone. And it is just so amazing. Okay. And that's how the self-invested woman lives. Okay. You guys like my challenges. Cool. I'm glad. Okay. All right. Moving on. So we're going to end the confusion tonight, and then we'll dive more into that in the Lifestyle Accelerator. But I want to share this example of Tawny. So I did share this photo on my marketing, but Tawny was a client of mine. She lives in California still. And this is like, those of you who were number ones, like, so was Tawny. All right. So she was a healthy eater, but she literally she knew she had some things to improve. She was not perfect, but she's like, I'm pescatarian. I cook at home. Like love vegetables. I eat lentils, like all these healthy foods, she would tell me. She's not a big drinker. Like she doesn't go out much. She's like, I don't understand. But she was inconsistent with her movement. She loved to cook, but not always the healthiest things. But I think the biggest thing for her, guys, honestly, yes, nutrition had to improve and movement, but she had a lot of stress in her life, work, time management. She, fitness kind of stressed her out to an extent. So what we did was we cleaned up her nutrition using some of the things I'll teach you tonight. And we got her moving more. Obviously, she's still a member of my fitness community. This is 4 years ago. And we worked on what was going on up here. And this was a 13-pound weight loss. So it wasn't like a huge number on the scale, but like, look at her midsection. It is night and day. And this is why, guys, like those of us who are trying to see body transformation, let's not just use the scale as your measurements. Okay. Like this is a big thing I talk about in TLA and my one-on-one clients too. I'm like, we need measurements, like your tape measurements. Tawny lost so many inches in her waist, as you can tell. Right. And pictures. Like we have to have something more than the scale. I just had a client wrap up. I'm going to show you guys Cindy later. She lost 100 pounds with me over the last couple of years. But this last round of TLA, she lost 6 inches. Like 6 inches is a lot in 10 weeks. Okay. And she honestly came to TLA just to really master maintenance for her. But like she still lost 6 inches. Freaking amazing. All right. So anyway, who's ready for the food fix? Type food fix in the chat if you're ready for the food fix. Like you're ready to fix some nutrition tonight because it is October 1st. It is Opportunity October, I call it, right? Like this is our chance before the holidays kick in and the new year. Like we're going to get things fixed now. Let's stop waiting and let's just start doing. So make sure you're taking some notes. You're writing down any questions that come up for you. I will answer them at the end, and make sure you're focused. Okay, because I really want you to get value out of this training. Okay. And then if you're watching the replay, I know a lot of you are watching the replay, just save your notes so you qualify for the bonuses I will be offering at the end. And those of you on the live, you've got to say till the end. I mean, you're going to want to, believe me anyway. Okay. So here we go with the food fix. So I'm going to dive into the 5 foods first. Okay. So number 1 food is sodium. And I'm sure this is not a surprise to a lot of you guys, especially my clients. We talk about sodium a lot. But here's where we can get confused, because you'll see people on social media and you'll see ads for like Element and all these electrolytes that have like 1,000 milligrams of sodium in them, or people putting salt in their water, in the morning. And you're like, wait, but I thought sodium's good. Here's the issue with sodium, right? If we're on the weight loss journey, right? We want to see the number on the scale move. It's going to affect the number on the scale. Okay. So we are going to get frustrated because what sodium does is it makes your body retain water. And if you're trying to stay hydrated, then yes, you want to retain water. Creatine, which is not sodium, but let's just talk about creatine for a second. It's super trendy. It's the most studied supplement in the world ever. Creatine makes our body retain water in our muscles. This is why bodybuilders, it's historically, creatine has been a bodybuilder supplement because it makes your muscles retain water, right? But some of my weight loss clients, I'll tell them if they're trying to put on muscle, I'm like, yeah, like you can supplement with creatine, but just know it's going to affect the number on the scale, just so you know. And I'm cool with that. I'm not worried about the scale. But if you are, just be mindful. So what I'll talk about really briefly with electrolytes is there's pros and cons to taking them. Yes, it'll keep us hydrated, but like, truth be told, guys, like if you're not outside working in the heat, you're not an extreme athlete where you're working out for hours a day, excreting a lot of sodium. The average person that has a desk job, right? Like a lot of us here, right? We don't need a ton of extra sodium in our diet. It is such a marketing thing. I mean, the supplement industry, it's like $65 billion. It's like disgusting. Okay. Do I use an electrolyte? Sometimes. So I live at about 10,000 feet elevation. So for us to like not have headaches when we first come back to elevation, we have to stay hydrated. So yes, electrolytes can help. If I am going on a, 12, 15 mile bike ride or I'm hiking, I might use an electrolyte. Okay. If I have a couple too many glasses of wine on a Friday night, Saturday morning, I'm having an electrolyte, right? A real talk right there. Right. But like most people do not need these electrolytes with 500 plus milligrams of sodium because you're getting sodium in other areas of your diet. So some examples of what I call sodium bombs is takeout. And it, honestly, guys, like I love Kava, for example. Those of us like, I think Kava is across the country now. Kava is a Mediterranean chain and like they have the healthiest meals, and all these chains that have healthy meals, they're still full of sodium. 2,000 milligrams of sodium. Okay. Pre-made meals. Look at the label. You're 800,000 milligrams, right? Wraps. Oh my gosh. So it's so interesting. I get so many questions about wraps because we think they're healthier than bread. They tend to be more carb dense and they have more sodium. Yes, there are more, or there are low carb wraps or whatever, but they're still sodium bombs for a lot of them. Not all of them, but a lot of them. Processed meats, right? So I know like, the turkey roll-ups are popular, like very high in sodium. Soy sauce, even low sodium soy sauce. I do like stir fries. I use a coconut aminos instead. I use the Coconut Secret brand, or actually Trader Joe's. Like theirs are lower in sodium than other coconut aminos. So we do have to read labels. Jarred sauces. So I'm Italian. So my grandma, rest in peace, she would not like me using a jarred sauce, but like I made a chicken parm the other night and we had been out bike riding all day and I was not about to make sauce. So I got one from the store, and like, guys, most of the jarred sauces are like 400 or 500 milligrams. That's very high. Okay. Jerky. I know jerky is so trendy because of protein, and I'll get into protein later. It's actually on my list here. Jerky is trending because it's quick, like the chomps. Everyone loves the freaking chomps, but they're sodium bombs. Okay. So if you're feeling puffy or bloated or you're seeing your scale fluctuate, it's sodium. Okay. And this is why, like, honestly, guys, I tell clients, like, if you like are traveling, Vandana, you know this, like if you're traveling over the weekend, you had a party, you went out to dinner, like don't weigh yourself on a Monday. That's like torture. Your number is going to be up a few pounds, even if you're making good choices, because you're probably retaining water. Be kind to yourself. In TLA, we do Thursday weigh-ins. And if you're wondering what I mean by TLA, that's the Lifestyle Accelerator. I'll talk about that in a little bit. Okay. So number 1 is salt. Number 2, inflammatory oils. Okay. Now, I put this one on here because I think it deserves a conversation. And a lot of people don't actually realize like the effects of these oils on the weight loss journey. We know it's not a health food, but I figured you might not know this as much. So what do I mean by inflammatory oil? So a lot of these are like the seed oils, but notice I also put on here palm oil. So on the picture on the right is a palm tree farm. where what they do, it's a monoculture. And I've seen these in Costa Rica when I've traveled. So like literally like this is all palm trees are going to burn for oil. And palm oil is a highly inflammatory oil. It will disrupt your GI system with over consuming. Okay. And like these oils, guys, are found in like everything from plant-based coffee creamers and plant-based milks to salad dressings to fried foods in bars. Like they're everywhere. Right. And the problem with them is that they cause inflammation in the body. And now, not all inflammation is a bad thing. This is actually something I had a functional medicine practitioner come into TLA this round, and she talks about inflammation. And we do want to create some inflammation in the body, because if you sprain your ankle and it swells, like that's a good thing because it's going to bring water to the area to help it recover. But the inflammation I'm discussing here is when you have like lots of aches and pains and you just feel tired and you have headaches for no reason. Okay, this is how it can show up. And these are issues on the weight loss journey because it's going to affect your desire and to work out and your strength. Okay, so overconsumption of these oils can be really harmful to your health. And so, yes, this is where like reading labels can be really helpful. Absolutely. Avoiding the oils I listed above. Okay. Like I said, most of these are considered the seed oils. Palm oil is not a seed oil technically, but it's a highly commercialized processed oil, not good for the environment, and it's not good for your body. Okay. You let Jacqueline in. Okay. And then excess calories. And I'm going to go into fats on the next slide. But oftentimes like these oils are snuck into foods and we're getting more calories than we really need. Okay. So, all right, next one. All right. So fats. All right. My CMW alumni, we talk about fats quite a bit, right? And I'm going to talk about healthy fats and not healthy fats. Okay. So the reason why we have to pay it if we're on the weight loss journey or we're trying just to even like lean out, like maybe you don't even want to lose a bunch of weight, but you're like, I just want to like tighten up. The holidays are coming. Like I'd like to tighten up a little bit, like whatever your goal is, cool. But we do want to pay attention to fats because if you have any understanding of macronutrients, right? Fats, proteins, carbs are the main macronutrients. Alcohol is the fourth macronutrient, actually. Fats accumulate 9 calories per gram. All right. While protein and carbs are about 4 calories per gram, alcohol is 7 calories a gram. So fats are over 2x more than protein and carbs. So I've always found it so interesting that people are afraid of carbs, but they're trying to lose weight. Like they're eating all the fats. Right. And the truth is like you're eating a balanced diet to like all of the macronutrients. You don't want to overdo it on fats because fat is not the body's primary fuel source. Glucose is the body's primary fuel source. And that's what your body breaks carbohydrates down into is glucose. All right. And it's really interesting. And no offense to anyone here who's done keto or who's a huge keto advocate. I'm not like totally anti anything. But the truth is like the keto people say that the brain is mostly fats. And they're like, well, the keto diet's the best because like you're eating all fat, like MCT oil is really big in the keto diet and just like consuming a shit ton of fat. But your brain is very metabolically active. Okay. And what that means is for your brain to function optimally, it needs quick sources of carbohydrate. So carbs are not just good for your physical activity, but it's good for your mental capacity. So is creatine actually, but you don't all need creatine. That's a whole nother masterclass. Okay. But we don't want to like overdo it on fats because again, it's going to be way more calories. And this is like, honestly, a lot of people come to me, they're like, Kristen, like I'm eating super clean. Like I eat a lot of protein. I eat like healthy fats. I cut carbs completely, but I'm not seeing weight loss. And I'm like, you're eating way more calories than you realize. And you're not moving enough is usually also the issue. So the problem with fats, excess calories, again, number 2, in terms of your health, right? Many fats are high in saturated fat. And I love coconut milk. I use that in my coffee. Actually, I don't buy like the processed plant milks anymore. Like I use like the full fat coconut milk or coconut cream, just like a little bit. It's so freaking good. But too much saturated fat. I've had clients who are actually allergic to saturated fat. And I've also had people that have like heart issues. So we've got to be mindful of saturated fat. That's found in lots of like fattier meats, you know? So, and that's why like we have to be careful of our fat content. And also why, okay, so fats can be addictive. So you're probably wondering like, what? So let me explain this. So I've had people I work with, like they can't just have, like you see almonds here in the picture. They can't just have like a handful of nuts. Type nuts in the chat if you're one of those people. I used to be that person. I can't just do a handful of nuts. I was like the trail mix connoisseur. Like I used to get made fun of for carrying Monster trail mix in my car, like in between jobs. I coached track and field. I was a teacher. I was working in gyms. Like I would carry, and Monster trail mix from Target, it's like not healthy. It's like M&Ms, peanut butter chips. Like it's sugar bomb. But like some of these fattier foods, believe it or not, like we tend to overeat chips. And it's interesting because a lot of people look at chips as a carb, but they're mostly oil. There's a lot of oil in chips. So I think of them as a fat. Okay. So how many of you type chips in the chat if you can put down a bag of chips? Like, I'm not particularly a chip person. I don't know why. It's never been my thing. But like my boys love chips. I'm like, you guys do your thing. Like, cool. Okay, I see some chips in the chat. Okay, all right. So I'm talking to the right group. Okay, we're going on to number 4. And guys, like I said, make sure you write your questions down if you have them, because I'm going to have Q&A. I promise. All right, number 4 is protein. Now, I know this is probably like a wait, what? Like protein is so trendy. It's super trendy. It's almost like annoying how trendy it is right now. And like everyone's like trying to force you to eat like hundreds of grams of protein per day. And you're like, oh my God, like I can't. But let me clarify this. Like, I'm going to agree in the sense that protein is important. However, why people struggle on the health and weight loss journey so much, it's not always even not getting enough protein. That's one issue, but they're not eating quality proteins. This is a bigger issue. Okay. And I actually used some examples. I had a TLA call yesterday and I was talking about some of these foods. And so chicken, all right. So I know my plant-based eaters, this doesn't pertain to you. I'll get to you with the next food. But chicken, yes, it's a complete protein, has all the essential amino acids, like all animal proteins do. But I've had clients that legit like live on chicken. Type chicken in the chat if you eat chicken like more than 5 times a week. Type chicken in the chat. And I'm not saying like you shouldn't do that, like stop, like no, like again, food freedom, right? But the truth is, if you eat too much of the same foods over and over again, you will 1,000% plateau. And this is why like my biggest mission in TLA is to help people diversify their nutrition. And I've had multiple clients that hit plateaus. They were eating really clean. They were doing protein and produce, like doing that, but like they hit a plateau. And I look at their nutrition, I'm like, you're eating chicken and eggs like every freaking day. Like, let's not do that. And they drop weight. And I don't want to say chicken's a poor protein. It's just like too much of it's not always great. Okay. Chickpeas, right. So my plant-based people, and like, I like chickpeas. I love hummus. I make my own hummus actually a lot of the time. But the truth is that chickpeas, lentils, I'm going to throw quinoa in here. A lot of these like plant-based proteins are very low in actual protein. They are way higher in starch. There's probably like 7 grams of protein in a cup. Beans, let's put that in there too. And like 30 grams of carbohydrates. And they also don't have all the essential amino acids, right? So like if we're talking about building muscle and recovery so we're not achy and sore all the time, we want to make sure we're getting adequate, complete protein, essential amino acids. So if you're not getting it through food, we can definitely do a supplementation. Okay. Cheese. Okay. So I've had clients that like, well, I'm getting, protein through cheese. And I've had some vegetarian clients actually tell me about cheese as like one of the proteins. And the truth about cheese is like, yeah, there's protein, but it's also equally high in carbohydrates and in fats. Okay. So it's not like the best protein source out there. So like the thing with protein, guys, is like, and one thing I actually didn't put on the slide, but I'm going to share right now is if we're doing protein powders, right? So I have like my plant-based people or even people who eat meat, like whatever, like, well, I need to eat more protein. Like, oh my gosh. So they go to powders. They're doing like a collagen or they're doing a whey or whatever. And then those protein powders have a lot of sodium in them. We have to look at the labels. Okay, that's going to be really, really important because you can be getting a lot of protein, but you're probably retaining some water too.
How's it?
Right. And then it's like frustrating. Okay. All right. So let me move. Okay, cool. All right. Moving on. Oh, wait, sorry. Other like protein snacks, like the Quest chips. I've had clients like actually, I had a client, Cynthia in TLA and Jessica this last round, and they love their Quest chips. They both lost the 10 pounds, right? They were successful in TLA. But I was like, we got to watch how often we have these Quest chips. Because yes, they have protein, but they're really salty. And it's so interesting because after we started really paying attention and cutting back their sodium, they're like, oh my God, now they're too salty for me. I can't even eat them that much. But they were trying to get their protein. So this is why like being really cognizant of getting good quality protein is imperative for your success. Okay. All right. Oh, I had another slide. I forgot. It's been a day. Holy moly. All right. So also let's talk about eggs for a second. There's eggs in this photo here for a reason. So breakfast, like a lot of times people say, oh, well, I have like a hard-boiled egg and like some fruit for breakfast. I'm like, that's like 7 grams of protein max. Like that's not enough. I'm sorry. So, and like nuts and seeds, yes, they have protein, but again, it's like 7 grams. It's not as much as you need, right? So again, like people don't really understand what protein is. Red meat, right? And like you guys, I like a good bison steak. I live here in Colorado. Like I eat everything, right? But like we have to realize like even like a red meat that's leaner still has fat in it. Or you cook it with butter or oil. So just paying attention, right? So here's the issue with protein focus in our society right now is when we are so laser focused on protein and like obsessive, we neglect the other food groups. So I'll look at people's food journals and they're like, yeah, I'm getting protein at every meal. But then I'm like, well, where are the vegetables? Where are the complex carbohydrates? We have low energy, but you're not eating good quality carbohydrates. You're not eating enough of the other foods. We're just eating protein all day. And I love the last line here. Those of you who worked with me, you know, I've talked about this. Too much protein will cause sugar cravings. Do you guys ever realize like how all the protein snacks and powders out there are like vanilla and cookie dough and birthday cake and Oreo, like you name it, there's a flavor. Too much protein will break down to sugar. And here is why. Your body can only process so much protein. Right? It actually recycles when you eat like a steak, for example, your body will use some of the protein for recovery, repair to fuel you, but it usually recycles if your gut is in good health. It will recycle about 20% of the protein you consume and it stays in your gut wall, right? So whatever protein your body doesn't need, it gets excreted or it gets broken down into sugar. Okay. I actually had a client once, his name was Todd, lives in Ocala, Florida, and he was pre-diabetic. And I talked about him in my Instagram stories before. And Todd came to me, he had like 12 pounds to lose. Like he was an ex-military, like worked down the gym 5-6 days a week. He's like, Kristen, my doctor said I'm pre-diabetic. And he was freaking out. He's like, I don't understand. Like I work out, I eat healthy. And I was like, all right, well, let me see what's going on here. So we started working together and I saw his nutrition from 1 week and I was like, you are eating so much protein. Like this is, I think, one of the reasons why your A1C is so high. 6 weeks later, he went to go see I think it was 7 weeks later, he went to go see his doctor and his A1C numbers were down because we had actually taken some protein out of his diet. So like, you'll hear me say, guys, like I always say in CMW, we love cookies, but nothing we do is cookie cutter. So Todd was a rare occurrence where I'm like, we need to actually cut down your protein intake. Most people I work with need to up their protein intake, but it has to be good quality. Okay. All right. Moving on. Last food is sugar. I'm sure this is no surprise. Okay. About sugar, but I think what I'm about to share with you might be a surprise because a lot of times, like my people that love sweets, type sweets in the chat. Like I love sweets. Like I'm the first to admit, I love chocolate. I love cookies. I have a cookie dough recipe I love. I had ice cream earlier today. All, seriously, cookie dough ice cream. I love sweets. So I'll admit it, whatever. But I'll have people tell me that they don't like sweets and they don't eat them, but they're like, I'm pre-diabetic or I can't lose weight. And then I look at the other foods that they're eating and I'm like, well, now I understand why. Because you're eating a lot of foods that are actually breaking down as sugar. So your body is still like, you're raising your blood sugar levels. Okay, so let's talk about a few of these foods real quickly. And notice how I wrote in parentheses when eaten plain, right? So like white rice, like I don't want you guys to think you can never have white rice again. Like I would never say that because I actually have a lot of clients like in their nationality is like the rice is a staple in so many cultures. I talk about this in my podcast. Like I would never tell a client you're not allowed to have rice ever because I don't think that's fair. But are there healthier alternatives? Do we not want to eat it every day? Of course, but white rice by itself is very high glycemic. This is actually why bodybuilders, and you guys might see like on Instagram or TikTok, pick your social, you'll see like, fit people eating a bunch of white rice. Why? Because it gets into their bloodstream really quickly and it fuels their muscles. Because when you work out, you're breaking muscles down. So they want to repair them right away so they grow and there's no catabolic state going on. So that's why they love rice and they like bread, potatoes, rice, pasta. These foods, honestly, guys, potatoes, and this is an exception here, but they don't really have any nutritional value at all. And they spike your blood sugar and they break down in the body as sugar. And what I wrote here, guys, many gluten-free foods. So as much as I think gluten-free can be really helpful for your gut health and reducing inflammation in the body, it's a health move for sure. A lot of gluten-free foods are rice-based. And like I was just saying before, rice doesn't really have a lot of nutritional value. So there's no fiber in it. Fiber is good for your gut. And it's good for your satiety levels and for your energy levels. Okay. Sugar is also hidden in things that aren't sweet. Okay. So we're finding it in lots of processed foods. All right. So below I have a couple of examples, dairy. All right. So I just had a client, Andrew, he lives in LA. And he was like, we worked on like reducing his sugar intake, but then he was like starting to read every label ever. He's like, oh my God, Kristen, I bought this yogurt that you told me to get and there's sugar in it. And I was like, well, yeah, yogurt has lactose in it, which is a milk sugar. So yes, are you going to get protein? Yes, you're going to get some fat, probably. And you're going to get a little bit of sugar. It's not a lot. And it doesn't break down in the body as like sugar, but it's still a sugar. So yes, sushi, like there's sugar in sushi rice, 100%. Have you guys, if you've ever bought in like sushi at the grocery store, like in the little plastic containers, have you guys ever looked at the ingredients? Maybe don't, because you're not going to want to eat it, but there's sugar in there. Packaged meals, sugar's put in a lot of them and lots of things. So sugar is, I think we all can understand, like a lot of us probably getting. Type sugar in the chat real quickly. If you think now, after listening to me talk and kind of, I've been through the 5 foods at this point in time, you think that maybe sugar is a culprit for you, like that you're consuming maybe too much sugar. Type sugar in the chat. I'm curious. Because it's funny, a lot of people, I would say it's 50-50 probably, the people I work with, like some people, like, I don't eat sweets, but there's a reason over 40% of our population is diabetic. Right. So it's everywhere. Okay. All right. I'm moving on. So I know right now I'm like a mind reader. Okay. I've done this enough. I've coached hundreds and hundreds of people where we're probably thinking like, you're like, oh my God, you're staring at your computer screen or your phone right now, or you're listening to me and you're like, what the F? Right? Like, who is this girl talking about food freedom and no drama? And all I hear is drama. Okay. So I'm going to make you feel a little bit better. Okay. Here's the reality of the situation. All 5 of the foods that I've talked about tonight, you're going to eat at some point. I am not telling you that you shouldn't eat any of these foods. Inflammatory oils, yes, we can be more cognizant, but if you're eating out somewhere, which most of you will, they're going to be using these foods or the oils in the restaurants. They're in the foods at Trader Joe's. They're at Wegmans. Any grocery store you like, they're in Whole Foods. They're everywhere, right? So I don't want you to stress about eating these foods. You need to live your life. Okay. And I don't think anyone on here on this call right now wants to like stress about food. And I had a call this morning, or not in this morning, yesterday with someone in TLA. And she's like, I just feel like I want to be perfect with my nutrition. I stress so much. And I was like, you can't live your life like that. Unless you want to grow all your own food and like cook everything yourself 24/7, you're going to eat all 5 of these things. So what you need to learn is how to have the right balance of these foods for your goals. Okay. But real quickly, guys, I want to get a little, I call it a temp check. Before I go on to the next slide, I want everyone to type in the chat of the 5 foods I went over today, right? 1 was sodium, 2 was inflammatory oils, 3 was fats, 4 is protein, and 5 is sugar. Type the foods in the chat that you think you're overdoing. Let's just do a little reflection real quickly before I move on. I like to reflect before I share more with you. All right, I'm going to read the comments here. Sugar, salt. Yep. I'm such a binder. I know. Sugar. Okay. And we're all different. And you know what? And one food I didn't talk about is alcohol, right? And I didn't talk about alcohol, not because it's a health food by any means, but I think it's obvious. I mean, I love my wine, I like my tequila, whatever, but I think we know, we can't overdrink to be successful in our weight loss journey. Okay. So I didn't include that because I thought it was pretty obvious, but again, I do teach people how to still have cocktails and, get fit. It's totally doable. Okay. Moving on. So let's talk goals. I think this might be the most helpful slide of the day to an extent. I want to explain this to you. So I know everyone on this call probably has different goals. And why don't we go into the chat real quickly and type our goals in? Type in the chat. Is it weight loss? Is it build muscle? Do you want to maintain your weight? Do you want to just live a longer life? You're I want to just learn how to eat for longevity. Do you want to improve your energy? Or is athletic performance and recovery one for you? This is something we're talking about in TLA this round. So share in the chat what your goals are. Okay. And then I'm going to go through these with you guys. I might just because I started 5 minutes late, I'm probably going to go over the hour. I hope that's okay. You have to go, but I will do Q&A. Let me see the goals because I want to make sure I'm speaking to who's with me. That's important to me. Weight loss, toning, longevity. Good. Weight loss. I love it. Good. Okay. Good deal. Okay. So let me talk about the first one and what I mean by these letters here. Because those of you who don't know me, you might not know what these letters mean. So what I mean by weight loss in terms of nutrition is we want our focus to be on protein and produce. The 2 P's. When I say I simplify nutrition, I literally use acronyms and letters. I was also a school teacher. I mean, can you blame me? But protein and produce. Okay. This is our thing. So, but I also want you not to live on just protein and produce, but we do have to pay attention to our fats and our carbohydrates and just start, are we getting good quality carbohydrates? Are we having good quality fats? How much? Okay. Build muscle, right? You have to eat all the macronutrients. You need carbs, right? No muscles are going to be built with no carbohydrates. We used to say in my booty building classes, no butt was ever built without carbohydrates. Doesn't happen. Okay. So you need to eat healthy fats too for your joint recovery. Like we need all those food groups. Maintaining your weight, same thing. All the groups, longevity, improved energy, athletic performance. So as you guys can see, like I'm the kind of nutritionist that I believe in eating all of the food groups. The best diets have the most variety. But yes, if we're on the weight loss journey, we do have to understand our fat and carb ratio, I call it, and being very cognizant of the types we're consuming, how often, how much. It's not rocket science. We're not going to count and measure and like obsess over it, but we are going to be mindful. Do I need that bag of popcorn at 3:00 in the afternoon? Do I need that bag of chips? Do I need the pretzels? Can I pass on the candy in the faculty room? Right? I have some good quotes coming up for you. So make sure you're taking notes. Patty, I see your notebook. That's awesome. Okay. All right. So this is, I think this is my favorite slide, actually. I can say about all of them, but so I know in your head, you're probably thinking, well, what does this look like for me? Like all the different goals you mentioned and eating everything, like what does that mean? This is what I mean by this. These are like my golden nutrition standards. And nobody on this presentation right now, whether you're an alumni, you've been in my challenges, you're brand new, no one's seen this before. I told you guys I would show you all something new today. Okay. So I love food freedom, but food freedom is also aligned with what's here on the slide. Number one, you have to eat based on your activity level. So those of us, for example, on the health and weight loss journey, when you heard me say like, being mindful of your fats and carbs, right? You do need to eat carbohydrates if you're active, 100%. I have some clients in the weight loss journey that can eat more carbs than others because they're more active. And I'm going to share some of their stories here in a minute. But like, if we're not super active yet, we want to be mindful of how many we're consuming. We're not going to cut them because you're going to be miserable, but like, we have to be careful. Okay. Eat based on your preferences. Food is fuel, joy, and culture. Okay. That's not new. I've said that 100 times. Food, fuel, joy, and culture, episode 2 of my podcast. We need to eat for our culture. Like I'm Italian, I'm Puerto Rican, I'm a Jersey girl, like Maria. I'm a Penn State grad. We love our grilled stickies. Right? Oh yeah, Patty, someone to Penn State. So I don't want people to feel that they're neglecting their life, right? And then I love number 3. We eat intentionally, not forcefully. Here's a few ways what I mean by that. So let's say I'm at a party. Oh, I was at a golf tournament 2 days ago, and it's a Monday. And people are drinking on the golf course. And like, I'm like, it's a Monday. I don't need to be drinking. Like, that's just not my style, And like, I would never be forced into drinking if I don't want to. Right. But like, if I go out and I'm like, I'm going to have a drink or two, that's my intention. I'm not forced. I'm not peer pressured into anything. I don't get FOMO. Okay. Or like, let's say like, oh my gosh, like Kristen is telling me that I need to eat more protein. And I need to like pay attention to my foods. And I'm forced to eat things that I don't want to eat. First of all, no one's ever said that to me, that I force them to eat things they don't want to eat. That's not food freedom. That's food prison. I love that phrase. But I do want it to be more intentional. So the other day, actually in TLA, we were talking about like how to be more intentional with our protein intake, particularly in the morning. How can we get other things in the morning besides eggs for protein? Like, I'll eat eggs like once a week, maybe, but I'm not living on eggs. I don't. It's just not I bloat from eggs actually quite a bit. So I don't eat them a ton, but like I'm more intentional that I get my protein in throughout the day than like forcing myself to consume large quantities at once. Sometimes I'll look at people's food logs and I'm like, you just had like 45, 50 grams in one sitting. How is your stomach? Like, so just being more intentional. Or like, let's say there's food around you, right? And this was actually my client Andrew's story. I talked about him in my challenge, the walking challenge. So he would go out to lunch every day. He lives in like LA. And there'd be like, they would bring him snacks and there's like cheese on the table. And I'm like, don't feel forced to eat the food if it's in front of you. He's like, yeah, like I don't even really want it. Like it's just there. So I'm like, why don't we intentionally like choose no if you don't want it? And then if you do want it, have a little bit and call it a day. Eat cheese like a mouse. Simple. Okay. All right. Those are my 3 standards. I'm going to quiz you at the end. No, I'm kidding. Well, I might. Who knows? Okay. So how do I learn how to do these things and see results? This is the golden ticket, right? Like, how do I get results? Or more importantly, how do I keep living my life without feeling like I'm on a diet? No one wants to diet. Dieting sucks. Okay. And like, guys, those of you who know me, you know that my biggest passion in 2025 and even last year has been the Lifestyle Accelerator. This is my group coaching program where in 10 weeks, we nail nutrition. And even in a group coaching program, like everyone's nutrition looks different. Okay. And the reason why it looks different is because I have like 10 to 15 different people in the group. Like, you know, like everyone has different like nationalities, food preferences. Some are vegetarian, some are carnivores, like who knows, right? Like we have different preferences. And like the most important thing I want for you guys, and this is what really food freedom's rooted in, is I want nutrition to be light and easy and fun. You hear what I just said about Andrew? Eat cheese like a mouse. Just nibble. You hear the energy in my voice when I say that? Not like, don't eat the cheese, Andrew, you're going to gain weight. No, that sucks. No one wants to be told that. I love cheese. Okay. So I want it to be fun. All right. So some of you have heard me talk about this. I got like a minute to chat about this, and then we're going to go into Q&A. I'm actually going to be good with time. Cool. I want to share this story real quickly. I actually shared this on my social media a few weeks ago. But Nora is someone, she's 48, lives in Charlotte, North Carolina. And she originally came to me a few years ago. These were her photos from a few years ago because she wanted to lose weight. And she's like, you know what? Like, I don't understand. Like, I'm eating healthy. I work out. I only got like 5-10 pounds to lose. Like, I don't have to like lose a bunch of weight, but I'm struggling so much. And it was baby weight at the time. And she had done the Whole30 3 times. Has anyone here done the Whole30? Like, or like you've done the Whole30 and like it worked the first time, but then not the next time. I hear this all the time. The Whole30 is it's a tough diet. You know, you can only have 30 foods, which it sounds like, oh, 30 foods is a lot. It's not if you like food freedom like me. Okay. I want 100 foods. So, she lost 8, we did 6 weeks together. She lost 8 pounds with me in 6 weeks, but like, look at the change in her stomach. And like, look at her shoulders. Like, this is why I said at the beginning of the workshop today, guys, if you're not taking pictures and measurements, you are doing yourself a disservice. I am so annoying with people about measurements and pictures. And like, the reason why you don't see my Instagram like flooded with before and afters is because I don't ever require my clients to share photos with me. Right. I tell them in the beginning and I tell them throughout, like, take pictures, take measurements, but you don't have to send them to me, because I think the weight loss journey is very personal and not many people want their photos put on the internet. And I'm just not that kind of person, but my clients get really amazing results. And Nora was just happy to share them with me. And I was so grateful. But like, look at her section, look at her back, like, holy cow, in 6 weeks. So then she joined the last round of TLA. I wrote it down here on the left. And she was like, I want to keep toning up. I want to lose more weight. And she lost 10 pounds in 10 weeks because we really kept fine tuning her nutrition. And Nora went on 2 vacations during that 10 weeks. She went to Toronto. She went to Vegas. Oh, and she went to Florida. And she still lost 10 pounds in 10 weeks. This is what happens when you understand nutrition. And she would send me photos. She's like, I'm walking around Old Vegas right now. You know, like, I think that's so cool. All right, 2 more pictures and then I'm done with TLA stuff. So these 2 women mean so much to me. They both do my fitness classes still. Kim lives in Delray Beach, Florida, actually. And I shared her story today on my Instagram. So she came to me in 2020. Yeah, she started my workouts. Then we dove into nutrition in 2021. These photos were taken before she started with me at 47, right? So within 6 weeks, we did 6 weeks together. She lost 13 pounds in 6 weeks. And this was somebody like Cindy here on the right, They were afraid of carbohydrates. They were like keto people, but they were consuming too many fats, right? And they were still fairly active, right? But so Kim was just like, I don't understand. Like, is it my age? Like, why can't I lose weight? I'm 47. Like, I'm like, it's not your age, right? And then look at her now. And like, I love this photo so much because she actually sent this to me a few months ago. And she's like, I think you need some new photos of me for your social. And I want to thank her for letting me share this. And like, she actually just turned 52. Look at her. Like, when people tell me it's their age, like I just shake my head. And Kim's been working out with me for 5 years now on Zoom, and she puts in the work, but she's working on me 3 times a week. She's not killing herself, and she's down 25 pounds and she's kept it off for years. And she actually just did this round of TLA because weight loss was not her goal. She doesn't need to lose more weight, and she knows that. But she's like, I need to like tell myself to stop fixing things. Because type fix it mindset in the chat. Type that real quick. Fix it mindset. If you feel like you have to fix your body constantly, like there's always something you're picking apart, whether it's like your legs or your back or like your midsection. Like I always have more to do. Right. And that was Kim. And she came into this round of TLA, again, not for weight loss, but she's like, I want to stop beating myself up. I want to embrace my age. And I'm like, if I look like you when I'm 52, I will be so happy. Okay. So like, and she loved TLA because of that reason. Like we got her thinking differently. Okay. Okay. And then on the right, my last story, Cindy is a huge part of my heart. A lot of you guys probably know her. She's lost 100 pounds. She hit the 100-pound mark. Oh God, 2 months ago, I want to say. And she like said, I woke up on a Thursday morning at 6 a.m. with this message from her. And she's like, I finally did it. And her goal in TLA, actually this round, was to master maintenance. And she's like, I don't want a food journal. I don't want to worry. Like, I just want to like, live my life and do whatever. And guess what? She did that and still lost 6 inches. And now she's going to Greece in a few weeks. She's there for 3 weeks. These people, they live the life, right? And she's like, I'm just so excited. So like, this is what living with food freedom looks like. And I'm telling you guys, like, it's more of a feeling than anything else. And I think you can hear the energy in my voice when I talk about it. And that's what these women have. And Cindy loves her beer. She has a little microbrewery and she walks to it every Thursday, like clockwork. So she's living with food freedom. Okay. So TLA, the Lifestyle Accelerator, I'm not going to go into all the details tonight, but if you want in, we're starting Monday the 6th. Okay. So we got a little jump start last week, but it's not too late to get in. You can still get in. We start 10 weeks. All right. So if you want in with me, send me a message. You can send me an email. Okay. I'm going to send out the recording of this call tonight. You can reply to that email. Hey, Kristen, can you tell me more about TLA? And what I'll do actually is I'll put a link in the email to schedule a quick call with me. It's like a 15-minute walk and talk. You guys know I love my walk and talks. And we'll just chat about your goals. Like you guys wrote in the chat here, like what your goals are. And I want to dive deeper into that so I can assure you that TLA is a good fit. And if it's not, I'll tell you. Also, you might not be ready for TLA, or you might need more one-on-one work. I have very limited capacity. My one-on-one's actually almost at capacity right now. But TLA, I've still got space. Okay. So it's my group program, super amazing results. I have women actually back in from the last round because they loved it so much. So super pumped for that. But yeah, just get in touch with me if you want more information. And I have my bonuses now. Yay, I'm so excited. Okay. So those of you who did my challenge and you missed the bonuses, guess what? I brought them back for this. And those of you who missed the challenge, now you got this here. Okay. So you guys, here's the deal. These bonuses don't last long. They expire on Friday, right? Because we start Monday. So if you sign up by this Friday, that's 48 hours from the recording. You get $200 off enrollment, and you get a one-on-one kickoff call with me to deep dive into nutrition and fitness. So like by the end of that one-on-one call, you're going to have very specific nutrition goals for that week. And then also a very specific fitness goal. I'm going to look at your fitness as well, what you're doing and what we're going to optimize so you can get better results in your first week. And then also for the rest of the program. But then we'll also have our group coaching calls and lots of hands-on support. We have a community where I answer questions all day long. All right. So I'll drop the link in the, well, actually I might put it in the chat. If I can figure it out on my tablet, I'll put it in the chat. If not, it'll be in an email or just DM me. A lot of you guys have my phone number or my Telegram. Just get in touch with me. You know where to find me. Okay. I put the bonuses. And then my last thing I'm going to share with you guys, my biggest thing with people is I want to protect your energy. So I know a lot of you are on this call right now because you're like, you know what? Like, she's right. Kristen's right. I need to figure out nutrition. I've been spinning my wheels for so freaking long and I'm tired of it. Right? This is a new month. I call it Opportunity October. I purposely did this call on October 1st because this is the month where we get grounded. Right? The holidays, the new year, all the fun's coming. The average person gains 7 to 10 pounds over the holiday season. Woof, no one likes that. So let's get October dialed in with our nutrition. And that's why TLA is happening now. Okay. So you got two choices. I'm going to make it really easy for you, right? I like to make quick decisions. You can just stay where you are, not getting any results, still strolling through Instagram, listening to 5 different podcasts, reading books, doing the diet your friends do, Whole30 3 times like Nora was doing. Or you can actually get some results. TLA, we average 1 to 3 pounds a week with food freedom and no drama. And now you know what I mean by no drama. It's so fun. Patty, I know you like that phrase. I always think of you. Okay. Okay. I think that's it. All right. So I'm going to stop sharing my screen so I can see all of your beautiful faces. And I want to answer your questions. So here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to have you guys type question in the chat if you want to come on live and ask me a question. Okay. And then I'll just go in order of who answers. We'll just keep this super clean and simple. And if you guys have no questions, I'll be mind boggled because I shared a lot on this call. And that was an hour exactly. Oh my God. All right, Maria, what's up, my Penn Stater? How are you?
Hi, good. How are you?
Good.
All right, I have so many questions, but you mentioned breakfast.
Yes.
Briefly, and there are a lot of mixed messages about breakfast. Like, don't eat breakfast because it puts you into like a whatever phase, and do eat breakfast because it jump starts your metabolism, or eat breakfast at a certain time. I don't know. Or if you work out in the morning, which I do, eat breakfast. What do we do with breakfast?
That's a great question. So yes, like there has been so much in the past about like fasted working out. And yes, intermittent fasting is has been a trend for like 10 years now. And while intermittent fasting, it definitely is like a health move. Like it's great for promoting like autophagy, which is like cellular turnover. So like getting rid of dead cells in the body. The problem, especially for women, is that our cortisol levels spike in the morning, right? So when we first wake up in the morning, our cortisol levels are going to be at the highest. That's why there's some functional medicine practitioners that say like delay drinking coffee because coffee is going to spike your cortisol. And I'm a coffee girl. So when you tell me not to drink coffee first thing in the morning, like I'm not listening to that, right? But what also happens is if we go without food for a long period of time or work out fasted, we're actually going to increase our cortisol levels. So when you do eat after your workout, not only are you hungry, like I get starving, but then like your cortisol levels are super high. And anyone that struggles with like midsection, like belly fat, that's one of the culprits of that is high cortisol levels. And not all cortisol is bad. Like we do need cortisol in the body. Okay. But this is actually something Dr. Harmony Brown, she came into my TLA round last time. She'll be in this round as well for clients. Something she said that I found so impactful was we can either produce stress hormones or sex hormones. You can't do both. So for example, when women are struggling with progesterone, or they're struggling with testosterone, which we need to build muscle, if our cortisol levels are so elevated, then we're going to have hormone problems. So oftentimes when people are like, oh, I feel like I'm not building muscle or like I'm storing fat so easily, I have an estrogen issue. I'm like, what about your cortisol levels? Right? And I actually just have a client, Heidi. She's in my one-on-one program. She's in New York, or no, she's in Jersey. She's in Manasquan, and she's got some test results back. And I knew this was the issue. Her progesterone was really low, and that's what caused her what is it? Her cortisol to be high because progesterone's like our chill. That's it. Kind of calms us down. So Maria, back to protein. This is why I am an advocate of getting protein in the morning. I use the number 30 grams for my clients. And the reason why the number 30 is so imperative is because that's the number that's going to trigger something called muscle protein synthesis. Okay, I said muscle protein synthesis. There we go. Okay. Gosh. So that is actually what we need to make sure that not only are we spiking our insulin so we can produce the muscle protein synthesis, but it's going to actually help us reduce the cortisol levels. And I think this is such a great question. I'm so glad you brought this up because I grew up in a world where fasted cardio was everything. I worked with bikini competitors in Delray Beach, Florida, and they were like, fasted cardio is everything. Oh my, and they'd be on the Stairmaster, slaving away. But what they were doing is yeah, they're trying to lean out, but they're breaking their muscle down, working out in a fasted state. So if your goal is to build muscle, I see that's Nicole's goal. You got to be eating protein first thing in the morning. My women over 50, that is so freaking important to you. Once we turn 50, our body enters this catabolic state where we really have to protect the muscle mass that we have. So first thing in the morning is when it should start. Okay.
So work out, eat.
Yeah.
If I work out, I'm not eating at 5, but work out, then eat. Don't wait till 11 or 12 to.
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay.
What you could do too, Maria. So I'm sorry I missed that part of your question. Sometimes what I'll do is I'll put even a collagen in my coffee. And that's about 10, 15 grams of protein. So it's just a little something to give me fuel for my workout. So, and it's not eating food, which you don't want to go eat a meal at 5 o'clock in the morning, or even a piece of fruit, which is not a ton of protein, but it's some good carbohydrates that your body's going to utilize during your workout. So you're not working out in a fasted state where your body is going to pull from your stores. And then it's also going to raise your cortisol level. So you could eat a little something, but also just see what feels good for you. I've had some people that they don't like eating before they work out because they feel nauseous, right? So eat intentionally, not forcefully. Is that good? Okay, you're welcome. All right, I see a question in the chat. Nicole, what is your idea of good diversification of meat proteins? Oh, this is a great question. So actually every week in my communities, in my TLA group, in my Fit Fam group that Vandana's part of, actually, I'll share my weekly dinner menu. And so I shared it actually today. Actually, I was a day late, but I might do a fish one day. We had fish on Monday. We did chicken tacos last night. Tonight we're having a tofu stir fry. Tomorrow night, I don't know what we're doing. Maybe chicken. I have no idea. Oh yeah, Scott says no chicken. He's right here actually. So probably a beef of some sort, but I will rotate different proteins. Okay. So I just kind of like to change it up because, could I eat chicken every day? Probably. I like to keep nutrition really simple. But then I know that's not going to be good for my family. They don't want to eat chicken 7 days a week. And I'll, get bored ultimately. So that's my idea of diversifying meat proteins. Nicole, did that answer your question? Do you want me to elaborate more? And I'm so glad you came, Nicole. I know you signed up for a few of my things. I'm glad you're here.
I haven't always been able to make them.
Yeah, that's okay.
Thank you, and thanks for the replays as well.
Oh, of course. Yeah. Okay,
well, it pretty much answered my question, but the whole breakfast thing that the previous lady was talking about.
And Maria was. What about it?
Yeah, not too much, overemphasis on eggs, and I do eat a lot of eggs. I don't know what else to eat for protein in the morning.
Yeah. So I think again, this is all about personal preference. I really like doing Greek yogurt. And sometimes I'll throw in there some like berries. I'll do like, I love like the almond or the peanut butter powder, like the PB2, like that'll add a little flavor. I see some smiles here on the chat. Like I love that. Sometimes I'll just do like leftover dinner for breakfast. Like I'm a big advocate of breakfast. Doesn't have to be breakfast food. So that I'll do. Sometimes I'll do oatmeal and I'll throw in a scoop of protein powder. I like to get an unflavored protein powder because like my moods change. Like some days I want chocolate and some days I want vanilla and sometimes I don't want to taste it. You know, you could do a smoothie and throw like a good quality protein in there. So that can be something as well too. Sometimes I'll even do like, you can do like a chia seed pudding, and I'll throw, which is like higher in fiber. And there is like healthy fat, a little bit of protein. I'll throw in a scoop of collagen in there. I'll do something like that. And yeah, and like, I honestly, like, here's the deal with breakfast. Like, let's simplify nutrition and not have drama. Like, no one needs more than like 3 to 4 go-to breakfasts on repeat. Right. Like, and then like you can do the weekend, like do like the brunch or like the pancakes with whatever, like, you know, like that's a whole different thing. But like during the week, like, let's just keep it simple. You know, just I believe we have something in TLA called the quick 3 menu, and we have like 3 go-to breakfasts, go-to lunches, go-to dinners that are like supportive of our goals. So I want you guys to have that. I think that's going to simplify your life so much.
Yeah, that's helpful.
Right.
I have simplified it, and it includes a lot of eggs. I
Oh,
tried the yogurt, and I'm a little more lactose intolerant, so that doesn't work as well. But
okay.
I
Okay.
could possibly do like a smoothie or something. So
Yeah. And you could even do like Kite Hill is a brand. It's like an almond based yogurt instead of dairy. And they have a Greek version. So there's protein in there. But then what you could do is not a ton. You could still add like your own protein powder to it to give it a little bit extra, throw in that PB2 we like, and there you go. That'll be an easy protein source for you.
oh, thank you. That's
You're
very
welcome. Yeah. All right, Michelle, it's your turn.
Okay, Kristen, I have some questions here.
Okay.
Okay, can you see me?
I can.
Okay. This is the whey protein that I use. Is this a good option or no?
Well, I can't see you now. I did see you. I can't see now.
Okay. What about now?
Okay, can you read the label for me? Like what's the sugar content and what's the sodium content?
Let's see. The sodium is 160 milligrams,
Okay.
and the sugar is 3 grams.
That's good low. Okay. Okay. And then are there any like artificial colors or flavors or sweeteners in that protein powder?
I do not see any artificial. It's the whey protein,
Okay.
WHEY.
Yeah. Yeah. So whey protein isolate is the best form of protein. It's not concentrate, right? Concentrate is an inferior source of whey protein. So a lot of bars, for example, not so much powders, but like in protein bars, you'll see whey protein concentrate. It's not as good as isolate. Isolate is the purest form of protein you can get.
Okay.
So always look for that. So I'm assuming it's isolate you have, right?
How do I know that? Where is that
It'll
at?
say on the front.
I don't see that on here.
Okay.
It says 60 grams of protein, 12 grams of BCAAs. What is that?
Branched chain amino acids.
Is that good?
Yeah, so that's leucine, isoleucine, and valine. And leucine's actually really important for our recovery as well. But like in a protein, so this is something else I'll share is like I was saying before, remember I was saying how our body can only process so much protein and whatever it doesn't need, we excrete. This is a thing that the supplement industry loves to do. They love to overpack their products with things that we might not even be able to absorb. So for example, like I don't know what the grams is of leucine, but our bodies can only process about 4 to 6 grams of leucine per day max.
Okay.
So if you're buying, and I'm not saying this is it, but if anyone's buying a BCAA, for example, that has a 12 to 1 ratio, 12 grams of leucine to 1 gram of isoleucine to 1 gram of valine, your body's going to excrete 8 grams of leucine. You're just peeing out leucine.
Yeah, leucine is 2,763 milligrams.
That's 2 point something grams, right? Am I doing the math right? I'm not a math person. I think that should be fine. That's not bad. But you have to remember, if we're eating other sources of protein during the day, there's leucine in meat, there's leucine in dairy, there's leucine in fish. Like it's, so that's why, like, I personally, I get a lot of questions on BCAAs. I don't personally buy them because I'm getting protein in other areas of my diet. And a lot of the BCAAs nowadays are kind of crappy. They have energy in them, random gross flavors. I'm just like, no, thank you. So not my jam.
Okay. And then one other question. I eat the Oikos Pro Complete Protein yogurt.
Yes.
It has 20 grams of protein.
I know it. Yeah.
So this is is this a good yogurt to eat?
What's the sugar content in there?
Sugar is 3 grams.
Okay. Bye, Bandana. That's relatively low. I like to look at what else is in the yogurt. Like, do they put any, like, you guys, and you have to realize, like, I'm a little bit of a food snob. Like, I don't love, like, Patty's laughing. I don't like artificial colors or things like that. Like, my preference is I always like to have like plain yogurt, and then I'll add like my own fruit or my own flavors. Like, I love vanilla. So when my mom was pregnant with me, she ate vanilla ice cream like every day. So like vanilla is my favorite flavor of everything. So I love vanilla in yogurt. But I like to buy my own vanilla extract and put it in. So Michelle, to answer your question, I don't think it's a bad thing. I think 3 grams is low. There's a brand called 2G, and 2G is also like 2 grams of sugar. So I love that these labels are being much more transparent, and they're saying, hey, we're going to cut down on sugar. So I don't think that's a bad thing, but we also want to look at the other elements of the diet and making sure that you're not having too much sugar. So we don't want to do more than 26 grams of sugar per day, right? That's the number. So yes, like 3 sounds low, but like if we're adding in fruit and adding in like other things, it adds up, right?
Yeah.
So just a food for thought.
Yeah. Yeah, I usually eat this with a protein bar. I eat this yogurt and a protein bar. That's usually my breakfast for the morning, and an apple. That's usually what I have for
Okay.
So,
cool.
Yeah. But because I'm like, okay, what can I eat?
I get it.
Because I try to watch what I eat, but it's just so much bad stuff out there, Yeah.
Well, and that's what I was saying before. Like, although I talked about these 5 foods, like I said, like, you're going to eat these foods, like it's this is the reality, right? It's like we can complain about it, or we can accept it and say, okay, I'm just going to be more mindful. But if there's canola oil in this salad dressing, I'm not going to like super stress about it. Or like if there's 3 grams of sugar and this is the only option, like, okay, like no biggie. It's life goes on. Really not going to make or break you.
And then one last question about how much water would you say we should drink a day?
80 to 100 ounces minimum. There is no evidence that shows you need 128 ounces per day. Like, I know the jug club, the gallon, whatever it's called. Like, I know that's so like trendy in fitness, but like there's no evidence that shows 128 over 100 is better.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. 80 to 100 ounces.
Yes.
Okay.
Minimum. Yeah. You're welcome. Maria, yes, olive oil is amazing. Olive oil, avocado, and coconut are my faves. I also like cooking. I'm going to actually use sesame seed oil tonight in our stir fry. And sesame is a seed oil, technically, but the cool thing about sesame oil is that it's not really a commercially produced, like in large vats, for commercial production. So that's why I like sesame, flaxseed oil, like those are technically seed oils, but like I wouldn't classify them with the other group that I mentioned earlier. Okay. Ruth Ellen, do you have a question? You're my last one. No, okay, she might be listening in. Okay. if anybody watching the recording, I know there's a lot of you guys. If anyone's watching the recording, feel free to send me a question. I'm happy to answer. I know this is a big part of the learning journey, is answering questions. But I think honestly, like if there's like super personal questions, like, well, how many fats should I get? And what about best carbs for me? Like that's a longer conversation, and that might need some work within the TLA program, because like every person I work with is different. And I really like to learn more about activity level and your food intolerances and your life. And if your kids want to eat pasta 3 times a week, well, how can you do that too? You know, so it's like, there's so many factors that I want to give the best advice. And, you know, like, I don't like having a blanket statement of nutrition. So please reach out to me if you have more questions. Let me see if I can drop my link real quickly to see. I'm just on a tablet, so it's a little bit hard. What I'll do, guys, is I'll just quick, like, in the email to you guys, I will send the link to schedule a time to chat with me, okay? Because I know a lot of you guys probably do or have more questions, and I want to make sure I answer them. And we'll go from there. Any other, actually, what I want to do real quickly, I want to wrap up. Why don't we all type in the chat real quickly, one big aha moment from today? Like what really stuck out to you, resonated with you, made you be like, oh, like I want to start working on that. Or, oh, like I want to dive more into like that part of nutrition, or I want to learn more about this. Like type that in the chat real quickly so I can just see what really landed today. Right. And I'm really trying to pull up this link for you this way, because I probably won't email the recording out till tomorrow. So I want to make sure I do that. So type in the chat, like what really landed with you. And then we'll go from there. Okay. 1 second. I just got an email. Someone already emailed me saying, Kristen, great session. So I'm loving the feedback already. Thank you. And Patty, I got your email about my podcast. Thank you so much. I've been like totally backed up with work the last couple of days because I was out of office on Monday. But thank you for the congrats. Podcast is getting great feedback. It's on, I'll put it in the email as well. It's on Apple and Spotify. And, you know, I talk about food freedom. I talk about fitness freedom. I talk about the lifestyle accelerator. So if you want to learn more about those things, you can listen to my podcast. And those of you who like my challenges where I talk more, each day, like you'll love the podcast because it's just like another way to connect with me. And all right, I found the link. Yay, it worked. You guys, again, I'm sorry about my technology issues today, but I made it work. So here we go. I'm going to hit paste. Does that work? Let me see. Okay. There we go. I got it. Yay, it's coming at you. There we go. Okay. Put the link in the chat. All right. Let me see your aha moments and then I'm going to sign off. Because I know I went over time, but thank you guys for staying with me. I hope type value in the chat for me if this was a valuable session for you. Even if it was like a refresher for some of us, or maybe we learned something new. Good. Okay. Everyone's finding value. Okay. I love that. That makes me happy. That's why I do these. Good. Super valuable. Yay. I love teaching. And actually, Maria and I met at Penn State. We were both education majors. So we had our like capstones together and everything. So yeah, so I'm still a teacher. I'm just like teaching different things. Okay. All right, guys, but I have to run. Actually have a college session with Scott tonight for NOAA for college next year. So I'm off to another webinar. But have an amazing evening. And I look forward to speaking with some of you guys and we'll connect soon. Thank you for joining me. All right. You're welcome, ladies. All right. Bye.
Thanks, Kristen. Bye.
You're welcome. Bye.